Let's argue which God of War is the best God of War. Hello and welcome to Extreme Gameplays, where I play games stylishly. Today I'm gonna be comparing the Gods of War in the God of War franchise. If you're somehow not aware, which I'm sure you are aware, we have 3 Gods of War in this universe. We had Ares at the start, then it became Kratos, then we moved on to Norse, and we have 2 Gods of War, Tyr, who's now retired and I don't know what his ambitions are, and Kratos, who's stepping up to be the God of War of this realm as well, or maybe the God of Hope, and Tyr is still the God of War. But the point is, we have 3 Gods of War, and today I just wanted to compare all 3 of them and let you guys what I feel about this whole subject. You guys can also comment down below what you think is the best God of War. What is your favorite God of War? You know, besides Kratos. Like we all know in today's list, Kratos is gonna be at number 1. But what about the Ares versus Tyr conversation? That's what's important. Let's not waste more time. Let's head into the video. It's gonna sound a little complicated, but I'm gonna be comparing some stuff that I believe should be compared. These are things that I care about, like, you know, comparing the power, the characters' actions, you know, and their character as a whole. So, yeah, this is also gonna be my opinion, but you can also drop your opinion. You can disagree, and make sure to also leave a hot take for the next video of Let's Argue. I just decided to make a fresh Let's Argue video, and I'm gonna be waiting for your comments down below. The ones that get the most likes will be featured in the next Let's Argue video, and let's start the video. So this is gonna sound like a ranking. I believe it is the best way to go about this. It is the most convenient way. So at number 3 we have Tyr from God of War Ragnarok, or the Norse mythology. Look, I know you're thinking a whole lot of things are coming through your mind right now, but let me explain. The thing with Tyr is, when it comes to power, this man shows power. This man goes toe-to-toe against the current Kratos, which is presumably the strongest Kratos right now. If he's not holding back, he's the strongest, you know. This Tyr is going toe-to-toe against Kratos in a battle, just like you feel the weight behind everything. The music builds up everything, but no. Other than just that, this man shows you that he is so powerful by just kind of going toe-to-toe against Kratos. This is a Kratos with years after the Battle of Ares went on. And this man is going against this Kratos, so it is kind of insane. Although I do have a little critique about this whole thing, and is that it's not a critique, but we still haven't seen a lot of Tyr. You know, it's not just the power thing. I'm gonna be touching on this in the next couple of points that I have about Tyr as well, but we overall haven't seen a lot from Tyr. We heard a lot of lore in God of War 4. We saw him here in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, and for the power point that we have right now, PowerPoint, wow. For the case of power, this man is more powerful than Ares. He's not more powerful than Kratos. Obviously, Kratos is now, even though when he's going all out, Tyr is still putting up an insane fight. Have you played this on Give Me Mastery? But yeah, so when it comes to power, I believe he is more powerful than Ares. We'll get to Ares' power and his diversity in his powers, but Tyr also has diversity in his powers. Like, this man is controlling the undeads in a way. I don't know how, just like Ares, this man has a phase where he's controlling the light. You have to be in a circle, then you can fight him. I don't know if you guys have had that type of fight with him. This man's fight with multiple weapons is just something very, very amazing about Tyr's power. He's more powerful than Ares in some cool ways. Like, Ares, just the most that Ares had was being colossal and big. And I don't know how Tyr is gonna fight Ares when Ares is just towering over him. But Tyr just showing that he can use all these different diverse type of weapons, psychic powers controlling the undeads, using his magic and all that. Like this attack right here where he grabs Kratos and puts some light into his eyes. I still don't even know what he's doing here. So yeah, when it comes to the power conversation, I do believe he's more powerful than Ares. By a little bit. Not by a little bit, by a bit, okay? Because Ares has some powers that we're gonna get to in a minute. The biggest problem I have about Tyr is really something I think you guys would agree as well, and is that his character. Now, the thing with his character is not that it's just shallow. It's not that he doesn't have character. It's quite the opposite, actually. So you see, in God of War 4, they talk a lot about Tyr. Tyr did this, Tyr did that. Tyr is the one who did this awesome thing. Tyr did this, he never did a single damn thing wrong. Tyr did that, Tyr did this, and then at the end you just get Odin killed Tyr. So, yeah, that is a whole other subject, but for now, let's just keep on focusing on Tyr. You get to God of War Ragnarok, you meet the guy, and it's not actually him, it's Odin, but still, the representation of him being this very cute vanilla guy, this non-playboy guy that you definitely want your daughter to date, this perfect figure, he's so perfect. This is not even a Superman situation. This man is so perfect, no traumas, no pain, no lore that we know of. And this is part of the problem again, just like the power scaling thing. We haven't seen enough of this man, but from what I've seen in 2 whole games, this man's character is just so perfect. The character is just so perfect. Like even in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, he's so wise. Don't you have a weakness? Haven't you had a moment of anger? Haven't you had a moment of humanity? Which is the God of War universe gods is all about. These are just humans, but their effects are just amplified. Like look at Zeus. Like this guy is just a human with all the pettiness, with all the lust, with all the... But he's just a human with power. The same thing that happened to Kratos. Kratos was a man that had a lust for blood. A man that had lust for power, and imagine a man that has lust for power getting handed the power. Which is what happened to Kratos. He got handed the blades, exactly what he wanted. The monster became an even bigger monster, and you know, I touched on this in my last police video, which is a silly video but has some great points. Make sure to watch that video after this video. I guess it is now pretty clear what my main problem with Tyr is. The character is, I cannot say it's shallow because this man has a lot of lore, but the lore just makes him look like this angel that haven't done a single damn thing wrong, haven't wronged any person, haven't been wronged and learned from it or anything. Like what I see from this man is that he was born perfect. He's just guiding Kratos through everything, telling Kratos this is that, this is this. Never ever bringing up an example of, I used to be like this, Kratos. When I first became the God of War, the first thing I did was wage a war against some pantheon that I visited. You see, which gets me to the next point. Tyr is very interesting. Visiting other pantheons, and just the thought that, like, peep this, you go ahead and play the old games again, the trilogy for example, when Kratos was at his prime, destroying everything. And this time, on this visit, you realize Tyr is watching. Somewhere, somehow, Tyr is watching Kratos, and he's just observing from the distance. See, Tyr he's interesting. He visits other realms and doesn't just visit them. No, he learns stuff. It is interesting. He learns techniques, weapons, everything. But the man is just so perfect. How can you be so perfect? It is something that I really hope we dive into in future games. Like, just tell me more about Tyr. Is he just this perfect human being with no flaws? Like, what I love about the dynamic of Mimir and Kratos is that they've both been there in their worst. Like, they've both had their down moments. They've had their evil moments even. They've had their moments where they only did things for their benefits, and they've learned from it, and now they've become these two wise people. Tyr, on the other hand, I haven't seen any flaw from him, which is just, I don't know if he dives into the shallow territory of character design, but I really don't know. That's what I feel about Tyr anyways. That's why he's at number 3 for the most part, because he would have been at number 2, which is where we'll get to it. It is Ares, and you'll know why Ares is at number 2. He's a horrible piece of shit, really, with that beard. That beard really sells it. But he has something to go. He has some ambitions that are just weird and obsessive, and this man is just, he just wants power and control. You see, when it comes to interesting, Tyr is more interesting than Ares. Tyr and what he's done is more interesting, but I want to see how Tyr got to this wise persona that he's showing all the time. We haven't got anything yet. Whenever we get anything, then I'm gonna remake this video, I guess. I don't know. But let's move on to the number 2 spot, which is, as I just said, Ares. The thing about Ares that I like so much is just how it is smart and dumb at the same time in a very weird way. He's also ambitious. Like he plans for a further future, and it is beautiful. There's this video by Tactical Bacon Productions that really dives deep into what Ares did to Kratos and how he kind of debates if it was incompetence or brilliance, which is a really cool video. I hope you guys watch it after this. But let's just talk a little bit briefly about Ares and like how much of a planner he is. So he sees this guy that is just so ambitious, Kratos. He's in a war against the barbarians. Kratos calls for help from Ares. Ares descends. He knows. He was waiting for this moment, it seems. Kratos becomes Ares' champion. And you know, Ares just does everything for Kratos. Go ahead, I'm giving you power in your hand. I'm ending this war instantly. In an instant, every single barbarian dies. Go ahead, you have power now. I'm not gonna take anything in return. What we got in return is a murderer. This man needed power. He got power just simply handed to him. You know, he has been training all his life. He's a Spartan after all, but the otherworldly type of power, the Blades of Chaos, forged in the depths of Tartarus or whatever, I don't know the lore, I forgot, gets handed to him, and he's transformed into a bigger monster. And so he keeps on killing here and there this monster, and he just keeps getting more and more in his own head, hating everything around him. The big plan Ares has planned for him is for him to kill his family. That is specifically planned by Ares from the very beginning. Kratos raids this village that Ares leads him to raid or something. You know, they offered prayers for Athena or something. Ares doesn't like that. Kratos raids the village. His family happens to be there. He kills his own family. Here's where it gets kind of twisted though. Ares has planned all of this. You see, this is what makes Ares so interesting. He planned every single thing. We'll get to the power thing in a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk about how powerful Ares truly is. But for now, let's keep on talking about this because it's the most important thing Ares has ever done. It's also might be the most dumb thing Ares has ever done. And it gets dumb in this point exactly right here. Him revealing that he has done this. And so when he reveals himself, you don't know if it was just kind of him flexing his knowledge. Like, yo, I've been planning this whole entire time. Which is very, very insane when you think about it. This man had all of this planned. He had everything planned. He planned to make this monster that is unstoppable, which he succeeded for the most part. Because Kratos even kills him. But him revealing himself, him revealing that he has done this, at that point, I guess Kratos had the point, you know, to take revenge on Ares and all that. But, you know, then God of War Ascension happened and all that. That's a whole other story. But for now, Ares' plan from the very beginning, insane. It does get even crazier when you think about Ares' other plans, his other bigger plans, where he was planning to open Pandora's box and actually rule over Olympus. Can you imagine that? A man with the power of Ares opening Pandora's box. A man like Ares having hope. Like that would have been a nightmare for everyone. Kratos stopped him and became a bigger prick than Ares himself, but that's all of the story. And so yeah, that's my piece about this whole thing. So you see, this man is ambitious. He's smart for the most part, but he's of course not better than Kratos, but as a god of war, he knows how to do his job. Like him doing the whole thing, I believe this was also planned, him waging a war on Athens. Why Athens of all places? Because Kratos can then advise Athena for stuff. From now on, Kratos is with Athena. Kratos is gonna be the guy that is gonna hand me Pandora's box that easily. You can think about it and interpret it that way, that Ares planned this one as well. As a god of war, he wasn't just out there smashing things, waging war, and all that cool, stupid, edgy god of war stuff. He also planned maybe Kratos, knowing Kratos, he knows his dog, this guy's gonna go and hand me Pandora's box just like that, and I'm not gonna have to go through all the trouble to get it. Like, when you think about it that way, you can even set that as a plan done by Ares, which is just, again, very cool. Then we move on to the power aspect of Ares, and Ares is just a power creep. And not just like powerful as in pure strength. He is the weakest out of the three, but this man has some diverse power. This man can physically hurt you, and he can also mentally hurt you. Like the type of power that this man possesses is just different. It's not it has a lot to do with him being colossal, you know. It's like eating this pillar to stab Kratos with. Of course that has a lot to do with him being colossal. Hell, putting up that fight against Kratos has a lot with him just being so big and colossal. And this man, we never see him in a normal size. We always see him in this Titan-sized, Kronos or Gaia-sized form. like all the time. We've never seen Ares in a small form. I guess he was always a big prick. This man has pure strength by the diversity of his attacks when we fight him. Like, this man has 50 different types of attacks that are weird. Magic attacks, left and right, weird stuff. This man's type of power also comes from him breeding the Minotaurs, which is something we learned in the latest God of War Ragnarok notes about the enemies. Like, he knows how to lead war, like the undeads, the Minotaurs, you know, these weird stuff. And then, like, to take a look at the war between Spartans and barbarians, what Ares does is just something so heinous. So, like, he gives the Blades of Chaos to Kratos somehow, which is just quite insane. These are made with primordial fire. He just hands them to Kratos, his champion, right? And so it doesn't even end there. This man kills every single barbarian for Kratos. So, like, don't even go through the effort of fighting these guys with the blades now. Don't go ahead and Cyclone of Chaos all of them, please. I'm gonna clear everyone for you, and he just does it in the most scary way ever. This man just clears the battlefield for the Spartans. Insane. Like, what is this? Psychic powers? What kind of power is this? Then we go back to the mental type of problems, and he even talks to Kratos, telling Kratos how to break a man and all that in this scene.
I have taught you many ways to kill a mortal, Kratos. Flesh that burns, bones that break. But to break a man's spirit is to truly destroy him.
And this man truly shows it to us. It's not just this. Like, we fight a whole bunch of Kratoses trying to kill another Lysandra and Calliope. It's just insane. Like, the type of mental thing, the mental game that this is quite insane, lads. It never even ends there. Just at the exact moment when Kratos thinks he saved them, because they're somehow physical now, right now. I don't know where Kratos is. Is he in his mind? Where is Kratos right now? This man strips away the blades once more in a new, like, type of event. Like, this is all new, and kills the family again with the blades by Kratos. Like, it's just insane the type of mental pain that Kratos just goes through right now. Just watching your family die with your own weapons again, and the cause being the big prick out there again. Like, look at this man and how broken he is. Good thing that this man has a heart made of iron, and he just pulled through, rolled, got the Blade of the Gods, and killed Ares, right? Like, just imagine if it was someone at least a little weaker in mind than Kratos. Like, that would have been the death right there. That would have been Ares just killing them. It's quite insane what this man does when it comes to power. He's not just physically powerful. He knows how to break a human being inside out. Like, this man is crazy. Couple that with him being an actual warlord, and, you know, the whole attack on Athens and what he had planned for that one right there, and him birthing the Minotaurs, and, like, it's just some weird stuff that this man does, killing all the barbarians. This man is insane when it comes to war stuff. Like, this is the exact type of guy that you don't want to be a villain, yet he is a villain. This man just wants to conquer Olympus. That's his big plan. That's why all the gods were aiding Kratos to kill Ares. We just spoke of Kratos. Let's move on to the number one best God of War ever. Of course, it was predictable that it was Kratos, but let's move on to him. Let's briefly talk about it. We all know why this guy's at number one, but I mean, really, let's start with the power. And this man is the personification of power. This man is so powerful that and it gets shown to us. It's a whole lot of show don't tell, which is kind of why I critique the Norse games. For like every conversation, the sense of rationale gets thrown away when you talk about Kratos' power. Because right now, you say, hey, Thor killed Kratos. This is pathetic. This is stupid. How can Thor kill Kratos? Someone might come in and say, well, actually, Kratos is holding back. And I hate that. I hate that. If that's the case, I hate that this man is holding back. That is not how a warrior should be. You should not hold back, but I don't know. Like, as I said, the whole sense of rationale gets thrown out of the window when you say, like maybe you just think Greek Kratos is stronger than Norse Kratos. If someone just comes in and says Kratos is holding back, which is true. Like, there's some merits to this. Kratos is, of course, like, come on. Obviously, Kratos is holding back. He doesn't want the old monster to come out, but it is kind of getting to him in a poor way sometimes. Sometimes he really gets owned pretty badly just because he's, quote-unquote, holding back. It's just not a good tactic to hold back. Don't be a Goku, please. Okay? But back to the main point, this man, like pure raw strength lifting stuff, this man got it. This man lifted a whole statue trying to stomp him. This motherfucker lifted a whole forearm of a titan as big as a city, just lifted it. This man lifted a whole golden temple. The deadlifting is real with this man. Like raw strength, this man can best everyone in like a arm wrestling, right? This man can best everyone in a double arm cross. Yeah, you know, sometimes he does hold too long until he gets punched in the face by Balder, but you know, we don't talk about that. The things this man has done are just, I can't just articulate them in this one video. We're gonna be here literally all day. Just go ahead and play all the Greek games. Play the Norse games, watching this man lose it and punch Modi, sending him in a straight line to the wall. There's a lot of moments I can think of right now. I just can't talk about it right now. This man, when it comes to power, if he really wants to kill something, he can kill something. There's this quote by John Ford that I saw in one of his videos once, and he just said something like, Kratos is as powerful and as fast as he wants to be. Like if he wants to be as powerful as maybe trying to push a golden temple, he can push a golden temple. If he wants to be as fast as reaching Hermes, he can be as fast as reaching Hermes. That quote always stuck to me, and it always stuck in my head, and it kind of makes sense. This man has went through every single obstacle in his way, and it just shows. It's not just said, it's shown to you in the Greek games. Not much in the Norse games, except when he loses it, but in the Greek games, this man shows you how powerful he is. I love Kratos' power. He's obviously the most powerful, more powerful than Tyr. Tyr is going toe-to-toe with him, which is, again, quite insane. This brings us back to the Tyr argument and how powerful Tyr is. Tyr is going up against like Kratos this experience. Then again, we have the whole argument of Kratos holding back. I don't believe he's holding back. I believe 20% into the fight, Kratos is going all out. Okay, let's just please end this whole argument of Kratos is holding back. And there is no holding back when your life is on the line. Okay, now you can have the argument of this is Valhalla. Kratos knows he's gonna return, but no, this is Kratos. Please, like I know this character. Don't tell me anymore of holding back. When this is a man, this is a warrior, has a goal in his brain. I have to beat Tyr right now. I want to beat Tyr. Which is a pretty cool detail when you actually beat him. Kratos goes for one last punch, which is a full power punch, I believe. This broke Thor's tooth, and Tyr just stops it. This is why I say Tyr is very powerful. But yeah, don't bring up the whole holding back argument, please. Norse Kratos is going all out when he's fighting Tyr. He's going all out, you know, when he's fighting, I don't know, fucking Sigrun, or at least put in perspective that he's going all out 20% into the fight. First, he is testing the grounds with his enemy. Of course, that's what a smart tactician would do, other than sometimes when you go always holding back and dying against Thor, which is something I don't like. But hey, at least now we can surely, hopefully agree that this man goes all out 20% into a fight. We move on now to the story, to the lore of Kratos, to the tragic story that turned into a whole redemption villainous arc. Kratos' story it's so deep. Honestly, I really like this story. So this man starts as a baby, his brother gets taken away from him, and we don't need to get into the lore. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna talk about Kratos' lore. You guys all know why this is at #1 when it comes to lore and story. I'm not gonna dive deep into this. Just know that I love this character's story so much. Like simple bullet points that we have right now: killing his family, his brother getting taken away from him, then dying right in front of him. It's like him having to kill his own mother. It's just tragic stuff that goes through this man's life, but he doesn't really handle it the best way, which gives us God of War 3, in which he's a villain. It's like the dynamic in here, this man starting out this way, turning into a murderer, turning into a soft-spoken Spartan, turning back into a murderer, turning into a villain trying to destroy the whole world. It's just, and then even himself knowing that he can't redeem himself at this point. What is the point? What am I even doing? What Pandora? What little girl that I'm trying to save that I think is Calliope? No redemption. I'm just gonna pull this blade and I'm gonna do the right thing. It's just, and he still doesn't die, but like, it's just when you think about it, this man's character, this man's lore, this man This man has went through a lot of shit. Sure, he doesn't handle the situation the best, which is what's important in a lot of things, in a lot of people's lives. It is the most important thing, how you handle trauma, how you handle what happens to you. By the point of God of War 3, this man completely loses it after Gaia betrays him. And from that point on, he is not really giving a fuck about any sense of rationale in anything. Like, a man is helping him to get a bow, he burns him and takes the bow instead of just getting the bow and freeing the man. This man has no trust in a human that is holding on to dear life near an exploding house and just kills him and drops him down. This man is a villain. This man is a villain in God of War 3. I like that dynamic. There's just a little something about the power of fantasy that I like in God of War 3. It's just making it my favorite game of all time. Is just you being this soldier, this iron moving through everything, destroying everything. Just nothing can stop you. The most strongest Kratos, peak Kratos, prime Kratos, the most jacked, the most insane, and actually does what he says. Destroys a whole pantheon. It's just this dynamic from a man that is only going on and doing stuff to go forward in his goal, like a sensible goal, for example, transforming into this whole thing where he's destroying a whole world just to kill Zeus. Like, even he loses himself near the end. Remember, nothing is more dangerous than a villain acknowledging that he's a villain and still keeping on in the villain route. Nothing is more dangerous than that. This man saw what he's destroying. This man saw how bad things are getting and kept going. Nothing's more dangerous than Kratos in God of War 3. Nothing. And so with that, we reach the end of this long Let's Argue episode. These Let's Argue episodes are always long, you know how they are, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys kind of saw where I'm coming from when I say this or that, or I prefer this over that, 1, 2, 3. You guys can also leave your opinions down in the comments, and don't forget to leave a hot take if you want to be featured in the next video. If you get enough likes, of course you're gonna be featured. I'm gonna be featuring 8 to 10 hot takes in the next video, in the next Let's Argue. But for now, for today's video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had some points to argue in the comments. Keep it civil, keep it beautiful. Please don't go all out. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, because make sure to comment, because I rarely ask for this. From now on, I'm gonna ask for this every video. Thank you very much for the support. It has been your Extreme Gamer, Zestus. Peace.